country still ought to be. It was lived not taught, it was earned not bought. Had to put in the work to get to the top, let me tell you. But I think's really gone wrong. These days it's all wannabes singing someone else's songs. Everybody's doing the same damn thing. Where have the rebels gone? 'Cause we don't need another pretty boy singing pretty songs. Fake country boys doing country all wrong. You need another Haggard or a Johnny Cash, somebody chewing backer and whipping ass. I need a preacher, I need a savior, how about y'all? Can I get a outlaw? It don't have to be honky-tonks, boots and Wrangler jeans. It ain't the banjo or the fiddle, no. It's the words and what they mean. If you're gonna talk the talk, you better walk the walk. And brother, that's the truth. So honestly, what would Waylon do? I can guarantee if he was alive today, he'd ask us one more time, "Paul, you sure ain't done it this way." We don't need another pretty boy singing pretty songs. Fake country boys doing country all wrong. We need another Haggard or a Johnny Cash, somebody chewing backer and whipping ass. I need a preacher, I need a savior, how about y'all? Can I get a outlaw?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? For so proudly we hailed at the twilight as gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular up on spur, singing out, yeah, through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, presented by the West Law Firm and Resto Pros of the North. Part of the Chief Sports Network. Go Gamecocks.
consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good. It's gone.
He's in. Touchdown. Williams with a throw to the plate.
He's going to score. It's a walk-off. Touchdown, South Carolina.
All right, greetings and good morning. Welcome aboard and welcome home inside the Gamecocks, the morning show presented by our friends at Resto Pros. There when you need them, Resto Pros of the Midlands, Resto Pros Midlands, SC.com. The West Law Firm. They have been representing folks in this great state for over 8 decades. That's a long time. Visit West Law Firm, SC.com. Wonderful members of our community, amazing at what they do. Visit the West Law Firm here in South Carolina, multiple locations, and we certainly appreciate their support of Gamecock Athletics and us here on ITG. That is Matt Anderson, host of the Late Night Gamecock show. JC is going to be in here in just a little bit as well, working on a couple of things this morning. We're gonna have to get out of here today at noon. So only a 2-hour program today, but this will work itself out in very short time. We can assure you of that. So we've got, obviously there's some stuff going on with Carolina football recruiting, and we're going to let JC fill us in on that. And obviously, Matt, we'll get into some hoops with you. Carolina did announce 5 signees yesterday on the basketball side of things. You got baseball coming up this weekend, and we've got a first-time guest coming up in hour number 2. He is one of the best players I ever have seen, and one of the best players all of you have ever seen that has come through the University of South Carolina. He went on to have a big league career, and his name is Stephen Tollison. And Tolly is going to join us coming up in hour 2. We love getting the former guys on. We've done it for years. And it's a shame that I have let all of you down in all of this time and never having Stephen Tollison on this show. But that changes next hour, Matt Anderson. So looking forward to getting Tolly, as they used to call him, on. We got a little surprise for him as well. And we'll have some fun with that. More rain is in the forecast today. My grass is getting happier by the minute, man, like a kid in an ice cream store. I mean, every time I walk outside, it gets a little greener. You see it smiling back at you. It's not all limped over and browning out and all that type stuff, not sunburnt. So thanks to the good Lord for sending the wet stuff from the skies to save our water bill and to save our grass. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, I guess it was like a week and a half ago. We did all the landscaping stuff. We had a really, really good long day, and I'm sick of watering them all. So I'm so happy for this rain.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you.
But it's going to put us to work. So.
Yep. And this, that, and the other. All right. Well, it is the final day of the month of April. Can y'all believe that? Oh my gosh. It's the final day of the month of April. That means tomorrow is May. The Derby runs this weekend, but the Gamecock Report runs right now.
What's going on in Gamecock country? It's the Gamecock Report, presented by Gamecock Traditions on the morning show. Visit GamecockTraditions.com or in Lexington and get your gear and apparel today.
Wow. 10:08. Welcome back to the Gamecock Report, presented by Gamecock Traditions. They have made some changes, some sale changes. All the Under Armour stuff now. Remember, it was 40 to 70% off. Some was 70, a lot was 40, some was 50. It's all 60 now. All of it. 60% off. So come on, man. Like, don't be the guy who's like, I'm not buying it until the check mark is on it. Do you want to get a deal? Really? And then when all that stuff comes in and the price is higher, oh, this is way too expensive. You know, complainers are going to complain. Y'all know that, right? I've already seen it. I'm not touching it till the check mark is in. Oh, excuse me, big boy. I'll bet you a lot of people are still wearing Under Armour next year because it's in their closet and it's garnet and black and white. And you can get it 60% off. So,
Have you looked at the hats? The hats are awesome.
yeah.
Especially playing golf, man. I sweat through all the white hats, and I hate buying them, but I do because they look good. You can go get 4 of them right now for the entire next year. You're good to go.
Dude, who cares? It's only going to be cool if I have the check mark on. Well, apparently you're not cool without a logo on. All right. Lenore Sellers will be signing autographs on Saturday. So if you want to get 60% off, you can go in there and get an autograph from Lenore Sellers and 60% off of Under Armour. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. 11 a.m. on Saturday. Saturday will be a big day. Probably going to have a doubleheader in baseball. And you got the Derby and you got Lenore Sellers. Pretty cool stuff. Probably going to get an announcement, I would imagine, later on this evening. Carolina will hit the skies for Baton Rouge. And they'll go down and try to win their second road series of the season, third series overall. If they can take out the Tigers, not expected to have any changes in the rotation. Not expected to. Although, and we'll talk about Alex Valentin in a little bit. He is a wild card right now. Softball, they're headed west as well. They got Alabama this weekend. Difficult place to play. They're there. Softball is ready to go against the 4th-ranked Tide. Ashley Chastain Woodard, sorry, Woody, she told me that Alabama is the most difficult place to play in the country. Their first game is tonight at 7 o'clock in T-Town. It's a Thursday through Saturday series, as they generally do at the end of the season in baseball and softball, because the tournament will be next week in the middle of the week. So we'll see. We'll see if it's the most difficult place to play. Carolina's in the tournament. We will have Brad Muller tomorrow. He's going to hit on that, and he's going to hit on this crazy recruiting class that Dawn Staley's putting together. I mean, this might be the most talented women's college basketball team in the history of women's college basketball. Y'all realize that?
It's loaded. I was looking at it. Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because I was noticing it yesterday. I was like, man, this team is stacked deep. I mean, we're all used to Dawn having, 2 first teams on a roster, right? But man, there's like 2 all-star teams on a roster.
You can only play 5 still, right?
Well, and the height on this team is something else too. I mean, what does Dawn do? She is a master defensive coach. And I just don't know how teams are going to score. I mean, especially with the women's our NCAA tournament going to 76 teams next year, they might beat a team by 100 in the first round.
Oh, it'll be They just need to put a mercy rule in for those stupid play-in games in first round.
They need to let the other 75 teams vote for just one team that just gets to start playing in the Sweet 16.
Right? Yeah. Just advance them up.
Just advance them.
Yeah, because the thought now is you get to pick your postseason opponent, right? If you're the first seed, so why not carry that through all of them? That sounds great.
I would watch it. That'd be awesome.
Just advance them. Just. I mean, nobody's gonna beat them. I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll just run out on that limb. I hate doing stuff like that. I think it's very immature, but whatever. I'll be immature this go around. They're not gonna get beat. If they do, it's going to be like the biggest upset in 10 years.
I'm looking at them like this team's going to have like between 5 and 10 dunks in the game. So, I mean, you're going to see a high-flying women's team here.
They're going to be good.
It's going to be fun. This is going to be really fun.
You know what it kind of hurts, though? And this is such a minor nitpick, but Joyce Edwards run to be the all-time leading scorer. When you have this many talented girls on the team, how many points are you going to score?
Yeah,
I don't know. She's still got the experience. It's gonna.
She can score 20 in 20
don't
minutes.
mind hers.
Yeah. For the first time ever in the history of the NCAA women's golf regionals. This has never happened before in the history of the sport. This is really, really cool. One program will put 4 players in the NCAA Division I Women's Golf Championship. And that program is the University of South Carolina. Varana Heck, Malis Lamore, Aya Galitsky, and Molly McLean all received at-large bids to compete at the NCAA Regionals May 11th through the 13th. All are ranked inside the top 170 in the latest clipped player rankings. Heck and McLean will compete at the NCAA Tallahassee Regional. That's in Florida for you Clemson fans, in case you forgot. Galitsky and Lamore will compete at the Louisville Regional. That's in Kentucky. And for anybody that was wondering, congratulations. That is really, really neat. That is really, 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 really neat. Waiting to hear on men's golf. Tennis is at large. They're hosting the men's side this weekend. They've got a regional in Columbia. It starts tomorrow. Richmond, North Carolina, and Michigan State. The Gamecocks and the Spiders tomorrow afternoon. They get the winner of North Carolina and Michigan State on Saturday. Women's tennis this weekend. They are facing Maryland in North Carolina at the Chapel Hill Regional. UNC plays Charleston Southern. If Carolina gets through the Terps, they'll get the winner of that matchup on Saturday at 4 o'clock. What am I missing? Did I miss something? Oh, I missed a commitment, didn't I? JC is going to talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. But it's I guess, depending on what service you look at, John Archer is a 4-star, but some think he's a 5-star, and we'll see where that ends up going. 2027, very large, 6'4", 315-pound defensive lineman out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He has chosen Cox over Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, NC State, North Carolina, Ohio State, Texas, the Green Bay Packers, the New York Giants, the Carolina Panthers, and I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars. So congratulations to Shane Beamer and Darren Usher and Travian Robertson and that whole game. Clayton White, all those guys. They've got him. Can they hang on to him? I would imagine nobody's going to stop recruiting this young man, but we'll learn a little bit more about him when JC gets in here in just a little while. All right, that's it. That's the Gamecock Report presented by Gamecock Tradition. 60% off of everything with the Under Armour logo on it. And we will be so today is 2 months from the final day until Nike arrives in the stores. We need to talk to Kevin about that. I need to get Kevin on the show. Kevin, we'll get him to tell us about how that works with Gamecock Traditions. I mean, I'm assuming that you don't have to be out of Under Armour inventory. Like, if you still got it, you can leave it in there to sell it, right? I'm sure they want to get rid of it all, but I mean, it's not like you don't have other brands that are competing with Under Armour currently. And when Under Armour took over for Russell, there was still Russell stuff in there until it was all gone. I can't imagine that the Nike contract says everything with a UA on it better be out of here by the time we get in.
No, they still sell all that stuff in the Russell House now. You can get any brand you want, but I mean, just the officially licensed stuff is going to be under or Nike going forward.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's hit on some baseball real quick here. I'll be curious to see what they do this weekend with Alex Valentin. I mean, the plan is to continue to go with TBA. At least that was the plan as of yesterday evening. They'll officially announce the rotation coming up here in just a little while. Valentin he was really good out of the bullpen, but then they kind of needed him in a starter's role, and they still do. But they're leaving it TBA because if they need him to come in and shut it down and get a win, they'll use him. But he has struggled out of the bullpen lately with trying to figure out what is my role going into the weekend. I know that they're discussing it, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. I think that's going to be a really key piece to this thing, though, because if you got to play a double dip on Saturday, a day night, that's probably what they would do, a day night doubleheader, and then turn around and play game 3 on Sunday. First and foremost, Talmage LeCroy ain't going to be able to catch both games, I don't think. I mean, I could see a scenario where he's going, nah, you're going to catch me. I don't know. Maybe they try to. But That's a long day, man. That's a long day. And you can have a moment or two that end up costing you the game because you're in your 16th inning, and you don't want that. So they'd have to go to Jake Randolph and catch him in probably game 2 and Talmage in game 1. So we'll see. It is this every single game that they play. Like right now, they're not in a regional, and they don't have a shot at a regional. Their RPI is not good enough. So even if they won this series, won all the remaining series, they could get a major RPI hit, as we know, and it's probably still not going to be high enough. They're going to have to go do like major damage in the SEC tournament and probably get to Saturday to have a chance to get into the regional. But they still need to be hot going into that thing. And LSU obviously has scuffled. I told somebody this yesterday. I don't care how good LSU is or is not playing. Could care less. If you go win a series in Alex Box Stadium, you have done a really, really, really good job that weekend. So they've got a challenge on their hands. LSU obviously is still thinking that they have a chance to get hot and find their way into the postseason. So I'm assuming that they'll be scratching and clawing to get there. But we'll see what it all looks like. But that if they have to play, if they announce a doubleheader today, which we're anticipating that they're going to do on Saturday, that's going to probably change a lot of things for both these clubs and how they approach the weekend.
Hey, JB, quick question. Do you think Talmage would DH in game 2 in that scenario?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's the only guy now on the team who's over 400 in the on-base percentage category. He gives you the best at bats. He's the toughest player. He's the leader. He'll be as long as he's healthy, and even if he's not, if he has one arm, they'll probably still put him in the lineup. He's the heartbeat of everything for Carolina baseball. So yeah, he'll be in there. So we'll see.
Good call there. I mean, he is like, it's every time he walks up to the plate, I kind of settle into my seat. I'm like, all right, here we go. Quality at bat. Every time. I mean, it's like clockwork.
Yeah. You're going to get something out of him, and he, you know what, he might strike out. He might pop up. He might, whatever the case is, but it's going to be extremely rare that he just goes up there and gives away an at bat. He's just not going to do it. I mean, he'll fight you and at least get something out of it, let the guy on deck see a couple extra pitches or whatever the case is. I think about, I look at Talmage this year, getting another up close look with him last weekend and watching him play, talking to him for a little bit. He to me is what South Carolina baseball is all about. Honestly, if you had two more guys that were exact replicas of Talmage LeCroy in this lineup, clearly playing other positions, you're looking at a different season right now. I mean, he is what this program has always been about, and it's about the growth. Like a couple of years ago, I felt like Talmage was immature about some things, and he would probably tell you that too if you point blank asked him. I mean, I remember some moments that he had. I remember one specifically at the Citadel when they beat the Dogs in Charleston, and he was chirping with the cadets, and I thought that was a really bad look for himself and for Gamecock baseball. He's got into his head sometimes, into the feels when he's had some bad games. It has carried over either back into the field of play defensively or to the plate, wherever the miscue came from, or a bad at bat or whatever it was. But he grew through it and he stuck it out here. I mean, think about what this kid's been through. Talmage is going to be the only player in the modern history of Carolina baseball, unless you go back to like the 20s and 30s when you had someone different coaching the team every year. And then generally it was like the PE coach or the science instructor or something like that. But he's going to be the only player in as far back as we could possibly imagine going who has played for three head coaches. I mean, think about that for a second.
I know.
I mean, he played for King, and he played for Paul, and he's playing for Monty. Think about all the hitting coaches he has had through that time. And position coaches. Just think about that for a second. I think Monty might have made this point on Monday. He had Holcomb. He's had Monty. He's had basically Paul. He's had to deal with being taught how to play third, playing a little second. They've played him at first some. Obviously, he's been catching, and he's just continued to get better behind the plate. Like, I watched him catch last week, guys, and there's not a lot of things that I do well, but I can pretty much tell you who is and isn't good at that position pretty quickly. And looking at all the little things he was doing well, most people aren't going to notice, and that's fine. It's our job. But the way that he was getting both knees on the ground, squaring balls up, softening them with his chest, getting the body angle, the ball is funneling back to home plate. He picked the ball out of the dirt. The kid was going. The only chance he was going to have to throw him out was to pick it and throw it, and he threw a dart. And Evans was a little late getting to the bag. He made a hell of a tag. I think he threw out a few runners in the last few games. His throws have been better. I know one or two have airmailed, but they've been significantly better. The way that he is commanding the defense, getting the signs in, understanding the pitchers, understanding where to set up, understanding what to and not to say to umpires. It's been. I wish this was his sophomore year. I do. I wish he had 2 more years with him back there. You just can see it. It's in the last month, in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, he has grown as much behind the plate as he has grown in his entire tenure at South Carolina in anything he's done. His at-bats have been more mature. He has been a well-oiled machine in the last 5 to 6 weeks. It's like he took an off-season jump between his sophomore year and his junior year in a month. I mean, it's really been impressive. So I want to applaud him for that. He, regardless of what ends up happening this year with this team and their record and where they go and what they do, Talmage LeCroy, his final year in a Gamecock uniform should be applauded and remembered. It's been phenomenal.
JV, I got a quick thought there that just popped in my mind. I've been focusing this 5 for 5 ruling that's going to come down eventually. And everyone thinks about basketball and football, but in baseball, how do you think this will change baseball? Because after your junior year, that's your leverage year if you don't go out of high school. But now as a senior, you're going to have more leverage. And how do you think baseball will change with 5 for 5?
Yeah, I think it'll change. There's a lot. So it won't be retroactive, right? So like LeCroy can't take advantage of that.
No, and it'll probably happen next year, and it just won't be retroactive. It'll just be going forward in August or July, whatever it is.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that baseball's gotten older, Matt. There's some good in that, and then there's some, you're seeing guys who are getting fast tracked to the big leagues at a pace we've never seen before. You're seeing juniors, mostly juniors, who come out of college ready to go, and they're spending a year or less playing minor league baseball, and then they're in the big leagues. And then you've got a lot of seniors. So like I equate it with anything else. Like you could look at Georgia Tech. Look at Georgia Tech right now. Okay, just think about them for a second. So the Coach Ramsey, who is doing a nice job, he was promoted to that position to be their head coach, right? All right, so Coach Ramsey's offensive philosophy. Have y'all seen them hit? They're the best hitting team in the country. Mm-hmm. Coach Ramsey's offensive philosophy has zero differences from South Carolina's. None. They're one and the same. It's the same philosophy. You're talking about the players here. The players are the difference. Well, why is that? Okay, so what did they do? They committed to a foundation, 4 or 5 years ago. And they went out and said, look, we see where this is going, and we have no issues with supplementing with portal guys, but we want to get old. Like do you remember the movie The Wedding Singer? Remember that song? I want to grow old with you. Remember that? That's what Georgia Tech did. They went out and recruited at a high level, brought kids in, and look at their lineup. Their juniors and their seniors. And a lot of those guys are going to go pro. Some of them are going to be lower round picks, and some of them aren't. There will be free agent guys. So why not play another year if this is, if it's coming to an end and there's, maybe a little bit of NIL money there to keep you. I mean, you're not going to get much more than that in minor league baseball unless you're signing a big deal. You get paid nothing in minor league baseball. $40,000 a year. I mean, come on. So you're talking about older guys, right? And older guys like Talmage LeCroy, who's having his best year. The game is so slow. It's no different in basketball, Matt. I mean, what makes the mid-majors great in basketball in the tournament, and why have they been hurt in the tournament with all this transfer portal? Because they're not old anymore. They're mid-majors with a bunch of young guys. So all their old guys, they go in the portal and they'll go get paid at a Power 4 program, right? That's the name of the game in college basketball. So in college baseball, when you have these old guys and the game has really, really slowed down, that's going to make an impact for guys who are able to do that fifth year legally, and not have to really apply for it like they've had to do before and try to skirt the system. So I do think it's going to make an impact on certain teams out there. Some of them is probably going to fall right into their favor, where they've got maybe 2 or 3 difference maker guys who are set to leave the program, and now they're not going to have to do it. But the key to all that is going to be, where do you start? Where do you start? So, like, this is a South Carolina program, so let's talk about South Carolina. If you start with, we are going to keep the guys we have in our program and grow them up through our system here, and they end up having an extra year to do that with, and in the same system, it's those are the teams that are just going to be the model of consistency. It's going to be.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina would very much benefit from a 5-for-5.
That is a South Carolina thing, hands down, no question about it. That would be whoever the next head coach is here. That is something that they need to bring into play when they're building this program or flipping the program. Like, if you don't have a where can we be in 5-year plan, like Georgia Tech was okay. They were struggling a little bit under Coach Hall. They just couldn't maintain. Everybody who's glossing over Georgia Tech in the outside world today, everybody wants to hire James Ramsey now. Nobody even knew who he was before the season, Matt. Nobody even knew who the guy was. They have no idea. Like, they wouldn't have wanted him last year or the year before when all of this work and that foundation
he was an All-American center fielder or outfielder at Florida State, first-round pick. Yeah. I mean, he got what team was it, JB? You might not remember this, but so my wife loves Florida State, so we follow them. And he got assigned to a big league team just so he would avoid the level, or like the level 5 draft or whatever that's called. So, I mean, he was a prominent guy that scouts loved, and seems like no-brainer as a head coach now. It makes perfect sense.
Well, they were smart about it because they listened to, look, this is the guy who has understood how to get the players in here, and he has now figured out Georgia Tech. And so he had all the solutions. So Georgia Tech didn't go out and blow a bunch of money to just go hire somebody else. And it might have worked. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked, but they chose to stay with consistency in a guy who understood how to build it for that program. And it worked. But like what the outside world is seeing today, they have no idea the work that was put in to get there. They just think that he just got in the chair and he just snapped his fingers and became this magical great coach. No, it was a grind and a lot of learning for him, and what works and what doesn't work. And what does this place need? Not what does everything need. What does this place need? This place right here. Like Georgia Tech missed the mark for years. They are in Atlanta. You don't have to go anywhere to recruit kids. They don't have to be, I'm not saying they're all going to be Georgia kids. I'm saying every kid plays in Atlanta. That's where Monty and John Hendry found the kid from Arizona, the best catcher in the country, who's still committed as long as, this staff stays in place, or at least some of them. And so Georgia Tech had to just go down the street, figure it out. And they did that. So they're like, all right, well, we'll just go sign all these kids. We're going to go put together we're just going to stack classes here. And we're just going to live through this till we get there. Well, look where they are now. And it ain't getting worse. I mean, they continued to stack those classes because they figured out the formula that works for them. So you'll continue to put the players in the pipeline, and now you'll have an additional year for those guys to be able to perform in your uniform. It's really that's the model. Like, that's the model. And then you supplement with the portal where you need to supplement, and then you go from there, and that's how you can win. So it's a great question, and I do think it will impact baseball. I think it'll impact all the sports just a little bit differently. But all right, it's 10:35. Let's hit a timeout. We'll do that. We got to find JC. Where's he? Is he getting his hair did again, Mad Dog?
Yeah, it must be. I don't know. I haven't. The last I heard from him was at 4:30 our time this morning.
He did send me a
last I heard from JC was about 11 p.m. our time.
I'll send him a text here.
Yeah, he'll be.
We were talking about EJ Walker. I don't know if y'all talked about it yesterday. He went to Western Kentucky. That's what we were talking about.
Oh,
he's going to play for Darren Horn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, that, and the other. Powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston, Hour 1, electricbikescharleston.com. If you want to go as fast as Nick Harbor, that's where you go. You can crank it up. electricbikescharleston.com. We'll be right back.
Mike here for my good friend Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. Let's face it, it's been a rough go for mortgage rates the last couple of years. And now more than ever, you need someone on your side to get you the very best possible rate on a new mortgage or a refi. That's where Troy comes in. 27 years of experience working for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, rehabilitation loans, all doable with my man Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. And when I say doable, I mean the best possible rate that's out there. It's a phone call that can literally save you thousands of dollars. 803-238-0111. 803-238-0111. You can also check out the website ggmortgage.com.
It's time to bring the gym to you. Do it your way, on your time, in your home. We all have busy lives, kids, work, and anything else that can interrupt our daily routine. Maybe it's free weights or a treadmill. Maybe it's a rower or a home gym. Visit Charleston Fitness Equipment and start taking care of you. Do it your way. CharlestonFitnessEquipment.com. Go Gamecocks.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture are proud supporters of our Gamecocks. We have been making and supplying the highest quality outdoor furniture you can find for almost 5 decades. If you use your outdoor space to watch the Gamecocks, make it the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com or visit one of our 4 locations in South Carolina. Go Gamecocks!
If shopping for a car is pushing you over the edge, I have a deal that'll make you say, whoa! Wow!
What?
For 3 weeks only, get a brand new JT's Kia for just $299 down and $299 a month.
$299?
Get 0% for 72 months, get $5,000 over book value for your trade. And as always, you get the JT's Advantage plan with the million-mile warranty. $299 down, $299 a month. Hurry to JT's Kia.
Today and every day, we celebrate our great state of South Carolina. This week, our hometown highlight takes us to Barnwell County and beautiful Barnwell, South Carolina, the home of Lake Edgar Brown and the Barnwell Warhorses.
Hey out there to all my Barnwell Warhorses, this is Mason West from the West Law Firm. We love it here in Barnwell, just like we love helping everybody across the state of South Carolina. If you've been injured in a car wreck or hurt on the job, we're here for you. Give us a call, West Law Firm, 843-897-7525.
Sure look good. But you know it.
Look good, you know it, baby. Look good, you know it, baby.
All right, 10:39. Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by Resto Pros, Mad Dog, Matt. We might not get him. Everybody will know soon. So
Yeah, well, yes, things are really weird right now, and it'll all be made clear very shortly.
Yeah.
Bear with us.
I don't know how else to say that. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. Carolina football picked up a big timer yesterday, and good timing. John Archer is an exceptional talent. 6'4", 300-pounder out of North Carolina. We mentioned him just a little while ago in the Gamecock report. I do wonder, like, the draft just happened, guys. 3 guys went in the draft last year at this position. 1 went this year. We just talked to Coach Beamer last week, and Coach Beamer mentioned that he felt like they had 6 guys at the defensive tackle position, right, coming into the 2026 season.
Yeah.
And if you look at those guys, you're talking about Gabe Brownlow-Dendy. You're talking about Troy Pikes. Before I go any further, do either one of you disagree with me on the fact that they are major draft prospects?
I don't disagree.
No, not at all. No,
nobody disagrees with that, right? Okay. You're talking about 3 transfers who are they're all going to play. I mean, Shane said that last week right here, and he mentioned them: Jordan Thomas, Tomi Dorajaye or Tomiwa, and Kelby Collins. They're all transfers, but if you're out recruiting and you're able to look a kid in the face and say, well, 3 of the best defensive linemen in the portal chose to come here. Probably a reason for that. We've got 4 defensive tackles who've gone in the last 2 drafts.
Hold on. Before you go any further.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. There you go.
Okay. Thank you very much. You got Noah Clark, and Coach mentioned him, and he's, of course, a true freshman, but true freshmen that get thrown around by their head coach at the defensive tackle position in April, 5 months before the season begins, those guys seem like they're on the right path. They're going to end up projecting pretty well. And then you look at all the other guys, and I say all the other guys, that's not like I'm not taking a shot at them. It's just a phrase. But you got freshman Aiden Harris, you got redshirt freshman Christian Ingram, you got redshirt freshman Caleb Williams. Both of those gentlemen are quite large human beings. So there is a little bit of a similarity here, Matt, to what has been transpiring for the last 5 years plus under Torian Gray. You're starting to see a development pipeline into the NFL and another position group at South Carolina. We haven't even talked about the edges, but just in the interior position. And now you see the fact that John Archer has decided to play his college football at the University of South Carolina, top 100 player, and turned down all these other deals to do it. I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here and assume that this train ride is nowhere near to ending on the recruiting front for the Gamecocks when it comes to getting high-end quality players on the interior defensive line. JC is late, so we'll let him just listen for a second, Matt, but you can take it from there.
I think people have to remember that Travian came in late in a cycle. So he came in after a recruiting cycle was done. The groundwork for the next year had been laid. And then unfortunately, Travian obviously had the accident that he had to deal with this past year. But there's never been a doubt in my mind that Travian would connect with high school prospects, especially when you talk about defensive tackle where he played in the NFL. He was a guy that went from defensive end to defensive tackle, so he understands that. But Travian's going to continue to connect with these guys. He comes from the Brad Lawing tree. He understands what motivates players. And from my understanding, John Archer almost couldn't wait to commit to Travian and Shane Beamer yesterday. It was an exciting time for him. And especially when you get a kid this early, JB, you mentioned it, no one's going to stop recruiting the kid. We know that. But he's probably going to be on campus a lot this summer. He's going to be on OVs. He's going to be around on official visits. It's not far for him to get to Columbia. So to pick him up this early and kind of have a crown jewel on the defensive line, it's really, really big. I mean, this is happening before you had Aiden and Noah commit last year, and those are big gets as well. So just continue that pipeline. It's only going to get better. I agree.
Tell us a little bit more about John Archer, Mr. Smooth, Slick, gelled up hair sherbert.
I bought more product, guys.
Yeah, you got it in there today.
Oh, is that the stuff that Ben Stiller used in Something About Mary?
That's readily available.
Oh, it is?
I don't manscape well enough to use that, dude. God. I mean, my hair is very firm, as you can see. And there's certain, never mind. I'm not going there.
That's the Windy City.
I could use the word firm and do something off that, but I'm not. It's a family show. Anyway, okay. So every year there
is
are
that hair gel?
It's hilarious. Oh my God.
I ran out. Can you mind?
See, we're trying to do the right thing here, and you are dragging us down into the muck.
JB is the one leading the band today. He's the guy. He's driving Sooner Schooner today. It's going to topple.
I talked to somebody last weekend
this morning.
I quoted something from Something About Mary, and somebody I was talking to said, "Never seen that." I was like, "Oh boy,
you need to get on that."
The ladder. You just fell down a few rungs.
There's a Gamecocks reference in there. Something About Mary.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. So okay, so every cycle there's a handful of players I look at the Carolina's in on that I really they get almost anxiety inducing. Okay, guys. Oh man, usually I'm the one doing this. It's like reverse. It's a reversal day.
Guilty as charged. Did I pick up a hitchhiker?
Last year's
charged.
It was to Mary and Watkins, and I know I got paranoid about it pretty early because.
So you're saying you did it, you sick son of a bitch. Guilty as charged.
Dude, that guy.
Not 8.
Harlan, what's his name? That's the psycho killer in it. I mean, that guy. He's hilarious.
You remember that old?
He was in Dumb and Dumber too. He was like the cop. He's like, "Give me that booze, you pumpkin pie haircutting freak."
Yeah.
He was in Half Baked too, and he killed the horse. He's like butternuts, butter stuff.
Don't forget Rocket Man.
If I give you my fruit cup, then I'll have to give you my fruit cup every day. Give me that cup, fruit.
You're a man, not a
do
fish.
abs in 5 minutes. It's 6 minutes. 6 minute abs. I mean, I got to pull or I got to pee. Do you need to go? No. Okay, go ahead. I'll watch it later. It's fine.
All right. So every cycle there are guys that I look at and I'm like, Carolina's in on or up, and I'm like, man, I hope they get him. And John Archer is definitely one of them. You mentioned Travian Robertson, and yes, I think, and I'm not surprised about this. As Matt mentioned earlier, the guy came in not only in the middle of a cycle, but after spring practice in June. But he had a proven track record. Georgia State produced NFL guys, developed guys. Tulane, great defensive line while he was there. I mean, he's everything you want, and he is just like Brad Lawing, his mentor. And Brad was a tremendous developer of talent and was, I believe, was the longest tenured, not consecutive. That would be Steve Spurrier Jr., but the longest assistant to ever serve South Carolina football in the modern era. He was here for the whole Woods era, the whole Scott era, and then a chunk of the Spurrier era. So he's a legend, and may he rest in peace. But, you look at guys like John Archer, 6'4", 315. So he fits the Kreger size test. He's a big, looks built like Jordan Thomas. Aiden Harris, the top 100, top 150 player too, kind of more that undersized guy. And you kind of start to see the recruiting develop where they're taking a batch of the guys that are bigger and a batch of the guys that are quicker, so to speak. This guy's quick and big, though. 60 tackles for loss for a D tackle. That's unbelievable. Those guys sometimes could be great and put up no stats because they're just in there doing their job. They got good linebackers. They're eating up blockers and things like that. So to make those kind of plays says something about him. The other part of it's geography, and the Carolinas are D-line heaven. North Carolina is a bigger state than South Carolina. They consistently have more defensive linemen in that state because it's a bigger state. And if you're South Carolina, you look at the sheer number and the sheer hit rate of defensive linemen out of the state of North Carolina, and you want some of that. Well, this is the third consecutive blue chip defensive tackle that Travian's gotten, because Harris was from Charlotte, and Noah Clark, the big guy, the bigger guy, the biggest guy, he's from Durham. And Beamer, when he first got here, they were good at going to DC, Virginia, working North Carolina became a black hole for this program for a while, recruiting wise. And I've always believed that you need to at least go up there and sign your share. And by God, they've started doing it the last few cycles. It's really picking up in that state. And I think that, last year, like with JB Shabazz, the offensive tackle out of Winston-Salem, if it weren't for money, they would have had him too. They really have emphasized that state. Travian Robertson's from Laurinburg, Scotland County. He's from Eastern North Carolina. Defensive linemen from that part of the state tend to hit. I look back on it, and you have Travian, and Melvin Ingram was from that part of the state. And here this kid is from Fayetteville 71st. And, Fayetteville's always got pretty good players. Carolina doesn't get that many. I think, the most significant guy to come out of Fayetteville, I think, was Brad Edwards. I think he was from Fayetteville, JB. It's just been kind of one of those places. So to get a guy from Fayetteville's big, 71st is a state runner-up high school. They're a powerhouse out in Eastern North Carolina. And it just makes sense. Clayton White's from North Carolina. Travian's from North Carolina. You've got connections up there. Go work it. And they have. And the defensive line position, and I'll include edge in this too, but especially at tackle because they're so rare to find. And everybody in the country wants them. Everybody needs still – people can say what they want about the portal or whatever. They're going to load up on elite blue chip defensive tackles that are freshmen still and do that. So to win that battle is tremendous. And it just, you look at his explosiveness, his hand violence, his natural strength, the passion with which he plays the game. I don't know. I haven't called his coach and asked him how coachable he is, but from what I gather, he seems like a great kid and a hard worker. So he's a fit for the program. Darren Usher and Shane Beamer wouldn't have taken him otherwise, neither would Travian. And so to be coached by Travian and developed by Travian, you have to be coachable to that level because we know Travian doesn't play. He'll just, you can ask Xavion Hardy about that. You'll just be on the bench and see you later, and that's all there is to it. So it's a program fit. And, when he visited Florida a couple of weeks ago, when Florida gets a new coach, they're winning the national championship again, right? The hope is still strong in Gainesville. So they're a tough out in recruiting. And you saw him visit Florida and come back. Wow, I like Florida a lot. Auburn was involved. But at the end of the day, the Gamecocks lead was probably much bigger than we anticipated. He goes and commits, right? And commits it up. And, when you get any blue chip D tackle from anywhere, it's great. You got to keep the ones in state. I don't know if they will with Seth Tillman at South Point. But North Carolina is 1B as far as priorities go. If you have a good recruiting plan, which they do. And so getting him out of North Carolina is tremendous. I mean, and then you look and see how it stacks up on the D line, JB and Matt and Phil. You always want to be able to rotate. And, you know, Beamer was talking in his interview with you the other day about going 6 deep.
Yeah.
And then said they were only kind of 3 deep last year. They looked more like 4 to me. 4 got some run, but, you know, Brownlow Dindy had some nagging injuries and stuff. So maybe they were just kind of 3 deep. Monkel Goodwine and Nick Barrett played a lot of snaps. By the way, Nick Barrett, Goldsboro, North Carolina. That's another Eastern North Carolina D tackle. And so they played a lot of snaps, but talking about being 6 deep, well, how you get to that to where your program's able to do that every single year without necessarily having to go sign 3 out of the portal is you sign the best defensive lineman out of D-line heaven, which is the Carolinas, and then you take others too. But if you can establish yourself with that core, you know, look at Clemson and how many great players defensive line through the years they've gotten out of the Carolinas. Dexter Lawrence is one of the ones that was most recent. DJ Reader comes to mind. He was from North Carolina. Then you were on to something, you know, as far as taking advantage of your geographic advantages. I just, it's rare that I look at a commit and I'm like, yeah, you know, and I was on the phone with Matt when it happened last night. And Matt, I did a little celebration because number one, I didn't necessarily expect it, but then number two, that's a guy, you know, I don't really get excited about a lot of them anymore, but you know, because there's always another guy you can go find. But this one, absolutely. I was a little anxious about Carolina getting him. And I was like, I thought it would end up being this long drawn out recruiting battle. But apparently it's not. Apparently he's all, I don't want to say all in because all in is trademarked by some other people in the state, but he's in. And I just, you know, I can't say enough about the whole totality of this commitment. And, you know, hey, Travian's had a good run. You know, he just had another D tackle drafted. And now, you know, you have 2 blue chippers last year. You got another blue chipper this year. He's in on some other guys. And that's why I always say, you know, with the way he came in, people are like, well, he can't recruit. And yes, he lost a lot of prospects, but those were prospects he didn't have a relationship with. And you start building that 3 years in advance. So I think he's starting to get going on the recruiting trail. And if he can go shop for the groceries and you know, keep shopping at Whole Foods like he's doing, then it's a higher floor, and he will get them to their ceiling if they're coachable, and most of them are. So I can't say enough about this commit and the job they did to land him. And you're doing all of this off of a 4-8 record as well, which that record affects your next, like the 27 more than it would your 26. That's just kind of the way it is with kids making early decisions now. So overcoming all that, back in the day, you know, you go up against Tommy Tuberville at Auburn and Urban Meyer at Florida when Spurrier was here. Even if it's a North Carolina kid, you're probably not getting him. But
JC, don't forget North Carolina's #1 prospect is Joshua Dobson as well, who the Gamecocks in on, and the only in-state program that's still in his top 5 and the closest to home. So we'll see.
And he is technically he was at Catawba Ridge last year and crossed the border to go to Huff, but he is you know, Carolina feels good. That competition is going to be stiff, but they feel good about him and are in his top 5, and they're closest to home. And Torian Gray, similar to Travian, very good evaluator and developer of talent. So it's exciting. It's exciting with the possibilities in this class. We're got a visit weekend this weekend, that it gets June is the new January in recruiting. I'm looking forward to digging into it and following it the whole way. And I think they'll have another pretty good class.
We'll step aside, take a timeout. JC mentioned that weekend that's coming up here starting tomorrow, and we will talk about that on the other side. We'll try to mix in some hoops as well. And then Stephen Tollison, big leaguer, will be here at 11:30 this morning. So it's going to be a fun, jam-packed final hour. Gamecocks have at least 10 visitors in town this weekend. Shocking, by the way, that a crazy, falsely created narrative on social media about Travian Robertson not being able to recruit even existed. You never know that those guys were wrong, would you, Phil? The West Law Firm presents Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Can't do it without them. They're the best. Wonderful people. We've got an hour in the books and an hour to go. We'll be right back.
Coffee, weekday mornings with JC Sherbert. Watch or listen on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports YouTube page, and available on Apple and Spotify.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
When you buy and sell your sports and fitness gear at Play It Again Sports, you support a local business. We pay our customers for their quality used sports and fitness gear and resell it, recycling it back into your community. Support local, score savings.
So, Mason, what do you focus on in the law? My answer to that is I'm a personal injury lawyer. I like to help people that are injured as a result of somebody else's negligence or in a workers' compensation matter get back to normal. That's where my passion is. But what I want everyone out there to understand is more important to me is that I'm your trusted resource for any problem that you may have.
Visit westlawfirmsc.com.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture presents our coverage of South Carolina baseball and softball. Visit palmcasual.com today. Make your outdoor space the best it can be. Go Gamecocks!
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
Visit GamecockTraditions.com and get your gear today. They'll ship it to your doorstep. Go Gamecocks!
Jeffrey's got space and a touchdown. Can you believe it? Touchdown! He caught it on traffic. Scores!
South Carolina! If your golf game needs a little help, McKellar Enterprises is one click away. Meredith Taylor, a former Gamecock golfer, fields clients from all across the country. Golfers of every level are enrolling in her well-rounded golf camps. They're improving their game through virtual and on-course lessons. And now, many are a part of the membership program that gives you multiple monthly coaching options to get better. Are you improving for fun? Don't want to hold the group back any longer? Visit McKellarEnterprises.org today and go Gamecocks.
Test ride at Electric Bikes of Charleston today. Road trip ready. Ride comfortably. Forget road fatigue. The Velotric Fold 1 Plus features our exclusive Comfort Max frame design for an effortless, upright riding posture and a low step through. With an adjustable seat and stem, you'll be feeling great and ready for the next campsite adventure. Your back will thank you. Visit Electric Bikes of Charleston. ElectricBikesCharleston.com.
New year, better floors. Now is the time. Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. Beautiful like new floors in just one day. No dust, affordable, and 5 stars. Give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365, or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
You're tuned into Inside the Gamecock, the morning show, part of the Chief Sports Network, proudly presented by the West Law Firm, And brought to you in partnership with Game Day Nuts. Boiled peanuts, no shells.
It's 11:04, hour 2, Thursday, final day of the month of April. It's hard to believe. Welcome back. Matt Anderson is in, the king of late night, at least on our network he is. Much better than these guys who aren't funny on the midweeks during the middle of the week on the national shows. Right? Matt's better than all those guys. JC has stepped out for a second and try to get back in. If not, good news. You'll see him tomorrow. I think we'll be back to regular scheduled programming tomorrow. Really excited, by the way, about Raphael tomorrow, a day ahead of the Kentucky Derby, which is one of my favorite events of the year.
I like that. I miss Raphael.
Yeah, he's the man. There's no doubt. My buddy Aaron, who owns all the Palm Casuals, he's going to the Derby this year. How about that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he fits right in, the bow tie and the bright colors and all that stuff. He'll be fine.
Did he buy his wife a funny hat?
I think not so.
I don't even know if he's married. That was a big assumption on my part. I just kind of assumed.
Yeah, no. He is. He's married to just Emmy's amazing. I mean, she's an amazing woman. But I believe she has one. So quick plug here for my pals. So if you're ever downtown Charleston, and these aren't cheap, they're just not. They're not anywhere. But
said downtown Charleston, we all understand what that means.
But Kristen Smoke, Justin's wife, and Adele Cisco, Mike's wife, own a business, Marsh and Magnolia, which is in the bottom of the Bennett Hotel in the storefront on King Street, and they do the custom hats that you get, like if you go to Nashville, like they'll like mold it for you, and they can design it with all the fun stuff.
Nice.
They aren't cheap, but she has one of those. And so I'm assuming she'll be wearing that there. I don't know. I don't. Do y'all watch all the Derby coverage? Or when do you cut the Derby on?
Maybe about half an hour before it starts.
Yeah.
I cut it on at the scheduled start date or start time, which is normally an hour before they actually race.
Okay. So basically when they're like starting to walk the horses onto the track and okay. So
you diving into who might be the big winner, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So y'all don't you don't do the 4 or 5 hours worth of coverage where all the celebrities are on and the concerts and what everybody's wearing. Like Matt, like you're not like, oh man, I love his suit. Like that's not you. No.
No, the way it actually works out, JB, I'm a man's man. We're usually at the beach, and I usually come in from fishing, depending on the tides, right in time for the Kentucky Derby start.
Man's man, firing shots. Well, it's gonna be tough to be at the beach tomorrow. It's gonna be raining all day.
Yeah.
So
the ocean, you know,
man's gonna be judging seersucker suits tomorrow instead of playing at the beach.
Well, we can go live, JB. Me and you. We'll get it. We'll talk about it all.
Come on, Matt. Mint juleps.
Yeah. I'm not a mint julep guy. I could care less what all these people wear for what it's worth. I'm just picking on Matt here. But I am, as you know, a big fan of the old fashions. And tomorrow, with a couple of Carolina baseball games and Kentucky Derby, I've got a feeling those are going to show up sooner than later. So it's raining, honey. What else do you want me to do? I don't know. Rearrange the garage? I did. And then you unarranged it. You rearranged the garage. Bad weather expected this weekend, but not players. Good players. Stafford Willis, Judah Lancaster, Brandon Allen Jr., Braden Tyson, Kennedy Green, Dewey Young, Desmond Malpris, Jabio Smith, Seth Tillman, Arosin? Is it Arosin? Or Arosin Randall Jr.? 4-star out of Garner, North Carolina. And Frederick Ards, the 6'5", 230-pound edge from Orlando, That's all I've got, right? I think those are the ones that I've got on the list coming in this weekend. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anybody here. I think that's it. I typed it up and never printed it out, so I'm looking at my sheet. But anyways, those were the guys that we had scheduled to come to town this weekend based on multiple reports out there from all kinds of guys who do this work for us. So we appreciate all of them, obviously. If you are a stars guy, if you go by the stars, it's easier to count how many aren't 4 stars versus are. 7 of them are 4 stars or higher. And this is like the first group of almost 40 official visits that are scheduled already through Friday, June the 19th. So you're talking about, what are we talking about here? 50 days, over the next 50 days, somewhere between 40 and 50 prospects are going to make their way to Columbia, South Carolina. For what it's worth, only 3 of those players are committed to the Gamecocks, and only 3 of those players are committed elsewhere. How much of a chance do they have with all of them? It's mixed, right? Clearly. But when you look at the level of talent, JC brought up a really good point a little bit ago, and I want to get y'all to talk about that. They're coming off of a 4-8 year. And in the historical sense of college football, when that train goes off the tracks, it rarely gets back on, right? And if it does, it's rarely headed to safe ground in the correct location at the right speed. But that's just not going on. I know that a couple of guys have decommitted. I think one of them was certainly very much financially driven. But they're after an elite group of players, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When I look at the top end talent that they're recruiting, I always go to the trenches, and the trenches are pretty darn well represented starting this weekend and on through June.
And they'll hit on 40 to 50% of these guys too eventually. If they don't commit to a program over the summer, you're going to see them coming back in for unofficial visits. And I ran the numbers one time, JB and Phil. I was just bored one day, and players that visit campus 3 or more times usually commit to South Carolina. It's like a 60 to 70% hit rate.
Yeah,
so start counting some of these visits when these kids come through. But they'll get 40 to 50% of these kids that come in on official visits. And some of the guys they don't get is because they filled up at their spot already. And
well, let me make a point on that. I've asked Aaron Usher about that before. I've asked him if he and the coaches, they have a guy who maybe they've already scheduled him, maybe they haven't. They've just been working to get the visit, whatever. It doesn't really matter what the scenario is. But they don't feel like they're going to land him. They know like they're not necessarily. Some of these guys come in just to get their lay of the land, but they've got this down to a much more. They've got a much more scientific model for it now than it once was. Right? They have a really good feel of where they are with most of the guys that are on campus. To your point, Matt, that's why that rate is it's a good hit rate. And I asked Darren, okay, if you're bringing, why do you bring kids in who are committed elsewhere? I kind of knew ballpark some of the answer and response he was going to give me on that, but I still wanted to hear his response to it. And then I asked him, if you got guys that maybe aren't committed elsewhere, but you also know that even though you got something to sell and you know that you can sell it, it's going to be a very difficult pull versus somebody else where you could probably land them. Like, what's your philosophy? And one of the things that he explained to me was we don't stop recruiting these kids if they don't commit to us. Like, if we like them, we might eventually stop recruiting them. But if we like them, it's not like they just fall off the board because you have a transfer portal. So these kids stay on the board, just maybe move them from one board to the other. And if that kid does ultimately, we just saw this with Quay Scott, right? So they know everything they need to know to a point, and then they're able to track. Oh, he's in the portal. How about that? We need this type of player at this type of position or at this position. and they got a leg up. So there's a lot that goes into this. So if you don't get a commitment from a kid and eventually end up signing him, I don't know what the percentage is, Matt, but there is generally a percentage that some of those names you're going to hear them again in the next couple of years. Anyways, continue on. My apologies.
No, it's something that I tracked that as well when I started doing the shows. And, my message to folks then is, I'm always against social media and message board bashing, but in this era, better stop doing it. People don't forget.
Right.
And these kids come back around every single cycle, it seems like. So, yeah, they're doing it the right way. And then also just keep an eye on some of the kids they bring in, on coaches that are on the proverbial hot seat, because they might be committed somewhere else, but things can change quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's vice versa too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, think about how many kids have been here and then when they left, they already knew where they were going. Well, I bet you if you go back and look at their visit schedule, you can figure out where the connections started with some of those guys.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a football thing. It's not a basketball thing. Basketball is just where's the money and opportunity.
Yeah, that would never
You
happen.
see it even when coaches go to different places. It was like, well, he had an existing relationship with him through this school because he recruited him at the high school from the university where that coach was before he got here. I mean, all of these, and it's why it's all about the relationship, right? And Beamer says this, Usher has said this, everybody says it. I mean, it is what it is, and it's true for sales. Like, it is all about relationship building. And once you build a solid relationship, sure, they may not have bought your product or gone to your school at that time, but if they're ever curious about it, you're on the list to call and they'll listen to you.
Mm-hmm. And it's not really true in dating. Like, I got a
relationship.
I apologize. She committed to me, but I'm going to keep you on the board.
That's right. You're on my big board. Don't think I'm just going to wipe you off.
Yeah. And if this thing comes to a screeching halt at some point in time, or this young lady hops in the transfer portal, I'm going in the portal myself, and I'll look you up.
What's up, Phil's little red book?
Don't worry. Just because it doesn't work out this go around doesn't mean in the portal in a couple of years that we couldn't ultimately be together. And
that's right. That's right. We
made unfortunately
for your position.
Yeah. Things
unfortunately, really I'm 37. I'm seeing a lot of my former classmates go back in the portal nowadays.
Yeah, I remember when I was told, hey, life is stages. This was when I was a young kid. You go through marriage, and then you go through babies, and then you go through divorce, and then you go through marriage again. You'll see that cycle with your friends. Hey, Phil, did you send Tolly a link?
I did.
He was just asking for one. So
okay. Yeah, tell him just to double check and maybe the inbox or maybe the spam folder. I don't know. Things are weird. I'll send him another one.
We'll touch on this more tomorrow, and JC certainly will have more on it as well. But in the same arena, I guess, if you will, of signing players, South Carolina did announce 5 signees yesterday, Matt, in men's college basketball, we should say. The women, as we pointed out just a little while ago, yeah, they probably have the most talented team in the history of the sport. But how do you say the kid's name?
Belowskis.
Belowskis.
Asking him?
No,
where's
Derek? The only way I know that is I have a good friend with the last name Listowskis. And I'm just piecing it together. So
God bless
I'm
that
pretty
guy.
sure it's Listowskis, and then it's Bielowskis.
Yeah, Belowskis. Okay. Shane Blakeney, Camden Heidi, Corey Mincy, and Jacob. What did we get on that one? Nikas? Nakehouse?
I think it's Nakush. No, it's like a hard CH, like
Nakus?
Kush or something like that.
Yeah.
If you go online and watch his highlights from different games, every announcer says it different. So we need Derek in here to tell us how he's going to pronounce it.
Yeah, Derek will get it right. Yeah, 100%. I actually made the mistake one time of texting Derek and saying, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced this. And I got a very strongly worded text back basically saying, don't ever question me again. I was like, shoot, struck a nerve. All right. That group there, impact level 1 to 10, 10 highest, 1 lowest from where they were. What's the impact level of that group that we know today?
Well, I have some fancy analytics that I can run. And Corey Mincy kind of tracks as a borderline all SEC type of player. And that's what the analytics say. Camden Heide with, he's tremendous offensive efficiency. It's going to be how many opportunities and how many shots he can get up. But he tracks as somebody that can be a starter as well. Same thing with Bilauskis. And Nakus, however you say it, he's going to be more of like that defensive guy that can guard, 1 through 5, honestly. That's going to be his role. And then Blakeney, he's going to be someone who's probably going to be your 4th or 5th option in the starting lineup, but that's going to allow him to get some shots off as well. So I can see how this roster is being built. If you do some forward thinking, right now, just as the roster stands with 9 guys, it would be predicted to be one of the top 70 teams in the country. So 7-0. So it's going to be better than last year with, potentially 6 more guys coming into the fold. I know everyone wants to talk about the new guys, but I actually ran some numbers this morning. And if you just look at 2-player lineups, so like when these 2 players were on the court together, the best 2-man rotation for the Gamecocks was actually Grant Polk and Hayden Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually a plus 26 margin between offense and defensive efficiency. So you kind of see why Lamont Paris wanted to keep them. And funny enough, if you go up to 175 lineups, like 175 possessions with this lineup, Hayden Simeon is in the top 3 of all of those lineups when you look at 3 players. So I think that the way this roster is being built, man, with the guys they've brought in, they all are clear upgrades over their counterparts and what they're needed to do for South Carolina. And the big thing is just offensively. I mean, the three big ones, Corey, Camden, and Alexis, those are all guys that can be double-figure scoring guys for you. And I've changed my tune on Heide since we first talked, JB, after I've dug more into him. He can be a double-figure guy. Blakeney can probably fringe there, and then Marcus Johnson, he's probably going to be a sixth, 7th man, which is still better than what South Carolina brought off the bench last year. And they're not done. I mean, the kid from the Hannah kid from Alabama that we're still tracking. I know there's some guys overseas that they're tracking as well. One of them I'm told is going to be a bigger name. So I don't know the name, but I've heard that it will be a good one. So this roster is going to be better next year. I mean, even if you just added, let's just a hypothetical placeholder here. Let's say you get an ACC and an SEC bench guys. And I run this through the analytics here. I mean, you're still, you're kind of a top 60 team now. So instead of top 70 or top 60. So this team is going to be pretty good, and it's built for what Lamont wants to do. All of these guys are, 4 out, space the court guys. This is truly a team that can shoot. And last year we were told they could, but this team can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, by virtue of an expanded NCAA tournament, they should be like a 4 seed then.
I don't know about all that. I mean, this team as it stands right now, just depending on who their wins come against, what their non-con looks like, all of that. I mean, if they can go out west and win that tournament, they'll get some Q1, Q2 wins there. SEC is probably going to be a little down this year, but, this whole tournament expansion just makes me angry. I hate it. And the only reason they're doing it is because of all the lawsuits the NCAA needs to make some more money on. And we'll see. I mean, unfortunately for Lamont, it's fortunate and unfortunate. If you're kind of in this range we're talking about of a roster, you're going to have an opportunity to be in the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. And if you're not, there's going to be a lot of coaches that get fired because you weren't good enough before, and now you're still not good enough.
What tournament are they going to out west?
Oh, it's some shootout in Arizona. I think there's some West Coast teams on it. If someone could look it up, that'd be great.
Is it the one that's hosted by Grand Canyon? Don't they host a tournament?
I don't think it's that one.
Well, because I'm curious as to how Coach Paris is going to ultimately put his non-conference schedule together. I mean, this past year it wasn't overly difficult. Obviously, they went to West Virginia and couldn't get over the hump up there. Didn't really get it done. But it wasn't. I mean, it's not like they're playing a bunch of top 25 teams in the non-conference either. Like this team, I feel like is going to need wins.
Yeah,
like they need to feel what it's like to win. And kind of get on a roll and get yourself figured out. We talked about this yesterday with Carolina football. They got 8 quarters to open the season, unlike any season that we have seen. So what was the date, Phil? 1987, I think, when they opened up with App State and Western Carolina, right? Back when App State was clearly nowhere near the App State that they are now in Western Carolina. So that's been 40 years, basically almost 40 years since they had a couple of quote unquote cupcakes coming out of the chute. I feel like South Carolina basketball, you need to challenge yourself somewhere in there, challenge yourself. But ultimately also, while it might be boring to watch, they probably need to have 9 or 10 games in November and in December that they can they can get on a roll. I mean, they need to win some games and feel good about themselves. So I just didn't know who's going to be in that tournament. Is there a bunch of big name teams or what's going on?
It's like Stanford and Cal. There's a number of other teams in there. I'm trying to find.
Okay. So teams kind of similar to them.
Yes. I can't find her. I'll get it. We'll have it tomorrow. But it's teams they should beat. They're going to have Clemson at home this year. South Carolina has done well against Clemson at home.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be a challenge. Clemson will be good, but they're not going to be elite. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where if they can find a way to get, 10 or 11 non-con wins is the number you have to get to. Because then when you get to the SEC, you really only need, depending on the year, 6, 7, 8 conference wins, and you're going to be in.
I'm not even going to say it, but you did it.
That's right.
All right. Final thoughts here. We'll let you run on this note. Matt, I know you'll be back tomorrow at minimum in the noon hour, but final thoughts here before we get you out of here.
Man, I want to see the Gamecock baseball team go out there and compete against LSU, get that series win. This is a group of guys I'm just rooting really hard for. So I'm excited to see that. We'll be talking tomorrow. I'll be watching softball tonight. Can't wait for that. Like we told Ashley, softball is kind of taking over my house right now because it's so much fun to watch them compete. And it kind of started last year. So we'll have that on. We try and get the boat right so we get the boat in the water. Got a lot of stuff I got to do this evening. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure.
We got some maybe some Bed Bath & Beyond. Who knows if you'll have enough time.
I don't know if I have enough time.
Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. All right. It is 11:27. We do need to step aside. I mentioned Palm Casual, palmcasual.com. Palmcasual.com. 4 locations in South Carolina. More are on the way. 1 in Wilmington. They're in Georgia. They're in Florida. Appreciate Aaron and his team. They do exceptional work, and our back porch and back patio are full of Palm Casual furniture that I just sprayed again the other day to clean, Mad Dog. Bleach, gone. Pretty simple. Doesn't ruin anything. When we return, a big leaguer and a first-time guest, which is crazy. I have failed all of you in that department. I will never do it again. Stephen Tollison on the other side here on The Morning Show.
For over 80 years, the West Law Firm has delivered hard work, honest advice, and real results, and is a law firm built on family that delivers for families in South Carolina. They represent clients through personal injury, criminal defense, car, DUI, and boating accidents, and more. Built on blue collar, representing blue collar, the West Law Firm understands the importance of dedication and experience needed for representation, but with a foxhole mentality. Visit westlawfirmsc.com. West westlawfirmsc.com. Get comfortable with our team and learn why we should be a part of yours when you need us. Go Gamecocks!
If you have experienced water damage, storm damage, fire or smoke damage, or need mold remediation, you need Resto Pros of the Midlands. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com and go Gamecocks.
If shopping for a car is pushing you over the edge, I have a deal that'll make you say, whoa! Wow!
What?
For 3 weeks only, get a brand new JT's Kia for just $299 down and $299 a month.
$299?
Get 0% for 72 months, get $5,000 over book value for your trade. And as always, you get the JT's Advantage plan with the million-mile warranty. $299 down, $299 a month. Hurry to JT's Kia.
Hey folks, it's Mike Morgan for Ryan Brewer Fence. That's right, you know the former Gamecock legend as a terrific college football player. Well, I know him as that too. I also know him as the guy that runs a great business. Whether you're in the market for a fence, railings, columns, or anything in between, their craftsmanship, their experience and service, second to none. Residential and commercial fencing and railings. Rest assured your job will be done with an unparalleled level of expertise, and it's done on time, and they do it right the first time. Again, you're not going to do any better than Ryan Brewer, Ryan Brewer Fence. The website is ryanbrewer.net. Set up an appointment today. Tell him Mike sent you.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you. RestoProsMidlandsSC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
So that will send the tying run to the plate, and Stephen Tollison and Mark Stanley will pinch run for Hank Parks. 2 on, 2 out, 6-3 game. First pitch, strike called. Tollison 1 for 4 with a triple.
Boy, that triple, well, we didn't get a run out of it. Really comes back to haunt us too. It would be 6-4.
The 0-1. Swung on it, belted deep left field. Is it fair? It is! Off the pole! Game tied! Tollison does it for the Gamecocks! Just his 3rd home run of the year! Oh my goodness!
We welcome you to Founders Park. It's time for baseball, folks. There's a hot drive. There's a tag. That ball is way. Ball line to left field. Fair ball in the corner. The Gamecocks have the lead at the wall. It's gone. Back to the track. Listen makes the catch, and you can put Spurs on this one.
Yeah, it's been 22 years, Stephen Tollison, since that ball ricocheted off the foul pole in left field in Hoover. And had you not hit it, y'all probably would not have won the SEC tournament, the only SEC tournament championship in the history of the Gamecock baseball program. 7-6, the final in 10 innings against Ole Miss in that one. And then you would go on to defeat Vanderbilt 3-2 in the championship game. And that's the only time that that number has been put up on the wall as far as winning a tournament in this league. I can't believe I've never had you on this show before, and that's crazy. But we sure are honored to have you today. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. It was wonderful getting a chance to see you, I guess, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Watching the Gamecocks play and getting to catch up, and I appreciate you inviting me onto the show.
Well, what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I own a wealth management company up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We work with business owners, athletes, high-performing individuals, and it's a completely different road than I ever thought I would be involved in. But it was one of those roads that kind of just developed over time as I got a chance to play professional baseball and get to see all the different decisions that people made with their money. And I've always had a passion for investing and decided to build a business around it.
I'm sure you've seen some good decisions, and you've probably seen some bad ones with guys that get a bunch of money in their pocket, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most of the guys that I know have made pretty darn good decisions with all of that. But I texted JC and Phil this morning and said, "Hey, a reminder, Tolly's on today at 11:30." And JC texted me back and said, "Wayne or Steven?"
I still get that a lot.
Steven. When you saw that, when's the last time you saw that video of that ball leaving the yard?
Man, 15 years. Yeah, I got cold chills. Not every day that you get to reminisce on all the great things that happened so many years ago. But I guess the older that I get and the farther away from the game that I get, the more precious those memories seem to be. And so, yeah, I appreciate you running that back.
Well, Mike Morgan texted me the audio this morning, and he said, "Here, here's this. Play it for Tolly." And I said, "All right, let me see if I can't find the video on this thing." And so we did. We were able to put it together. But when I go back and remember, because you were the 03, 04, 05 teams, and I have had. I mean, Monty has mentioned this numerous times. Mike has said this to me numerous times. I've heard Coach Tanner talk about it. Y'all didn't win the national championship in 2004 and didn't get a chance to play in the national championship game. But that 2004 team may have been the most talented baseball team ever to come through the University of South Carolina. I know it's kind of hard for you to, want to publicly compare that group to other teams that you played on there and other teams that have been here in Columbia. But my God, when you go back and look at the starting lineup, I mean, half the team, I think, made it to the big leagues. I mean, or at least draft picks. I mean, it was a remarkable group of talent.
Yeah, definitely hard to compare to other teams because there were a number of other teams that actually got the job done. And like in reality, that's all that matters. Talent is one thing. Execution is really the only thing that matters when you look up at the end of the year. But yeah, there's so many of our buddies that we still stay in touch with. So many people that I rub shoulders with. I see you got Palm Casual showing up on the bottom of the screen every once in a while, and Beasley's one of those guys that every time I see him, he was like, "Dude, you're 2004, man. Like, what happened? How did y'all not win?" And it's just a funny game. Baseball can shake out a lot of different ways. If I think back to 2003, we had a bunch of grinders on the team. We were not super competitive, or we were very competitive, but we were not the most talented group. And we got hot at the right time. I think we kind of went mediocre through most of the year. We won the games we were supposed to win, which is one of the things that Ray used to always talk about. And then we got hot, and that's really all it takes. It takes a team rallying around the core of the locker room. It takes a team rallying around leadership and having buy-in. And when you have buy-in in that way, and you get everyone rolling, and then you get hot. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason why you get hot, but when you get hot, baseball is one of those games that anybody can win.
That 04 team, for anybody that wasn't around or doesn't remember, here's basically the starting lineup throughout the season. Landon, big leaguer. Steve Pierce, big leaguer and World Series MVP. Kevin Malillo, big leaguer. Steven Tollison, big leaguer. Brian Triplett played third base. I don't think Brian got to the big leagues. Didn't he get to Double-A or Triple-A?
I'm not sure, man. But Brian was one of those guys that, like, when you were in the clubhouse, you knew he was a guy. You could count on him at all times, on and off the field, absolute grinder. It's one of those guys that you look up and you're like, how did this guy not get a chance? That's what I think of with him.
Dude, no kidding. I mean, he's a 300 hitter at South Carolina. Davey Gregg in left field. Davey was the guy you want. If everybody needs Davey Gregg to win games,
that's right.
Could do it all. Campbell played the outfield that year. Michael Campbell would have set the career hits record at South Carolina had he not hurt his hand in 06. I think Michael Campbell, I've known him a long time like you have. I think he's one of the most underrated players to ever put the uniform on at South Carolina, personally.
Agreed. Another guy, just surprised didn't get the chance.
I know. I mean, a kid could hit. Brennan Wynn out there in right field, and then you think about Soup, Matt Campbell, who came to Columbia this weekend and watched the Saturday game against Kentucky. Billy Buckner, Aaron Rawl, Chad Blackwell, All-American closer. I mean, it's just crazy, the names that you think about, and you're like, yeah, that team probably should have won a national championship, but Jason Windsor threw his arm out just to beat y'all twice in Omaha. What was it about him that was so hard to hit?
His changeup. That's crazy. I can still remember that with all the at bats that I had throughout the years. His changeup. I mean, he was a pitcher that he got hot. He was on. I say he got hot. He had a great year, but he kept us off balance, and we were a team that if you threw us fastballs, we were going to crush you. That was the mentality that existed back then. That was the mentality that existed, within our team. Like, that's what my entire career was built off of. And he didn't throw many fastballs. And I guess that didn't bode very well for us. But yeah, looking back on it, man, that was one you'd love to try again.
Yeah. Do you remember how far he went in pro ball? I think he got hurt, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I
face him again. I know that.
Thank God. Yeah, he's the type of guy. There was one other guy who I remember in the 2002 World Series, and I know that you hadn't got there yet. I guess that was your senior year of high school. But do you remember Jared Baker, the big lefty that shut down Carolina?
Was it a guy from Clemson?
That was Jeff Baker.
Okay.
He was the big lefty from Georgia Tech.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are like the only two guys I can ever think of when I think about the things that went wrong in Omaha versus the things that went right. I'm like, man, it's really like two arms that stand out. I know like the 2002 championship series, Houston Street obviously was phenomenal for Texas.
Right.
And had then back in those days, that was the last year of a 1-game final in 2002. And then it went to I know. And it's hard I can't believe I remember all this stuff. So now here we are in 2026, and it's obviously been a struggle. Actually, matter of fact, the weekend I saw you was the day that they beat Arkansas, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
On that Sunday. Can I pick your baseball brain on this version of Carolina baseball? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, I'd love to.
What were you seeing out of this baseball team, this program in the last couple of seasons? Just give me your evaluation of where you felt like this thing was.
Yeah. So like not being in the locker room and not being like in the trenches, you kind of see the swings. You see the highs and the lows. You see teams that have energy. You see teams that just let problems compound. I felt like over the years there was maybe a little bit of lack of consistency to where the culture of walking out on the field and expecting to win every day, which is how I remember Carolina baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like that had kind of gone away, and I mean, rightfully so. If you're not used to winning every time you get on the field, then eventually that goes away. And some of that spawns from leadership. Some of that spawns from the guys in the locker room. Some of that spawns from just a different type of ball that's being played today. I think there's a different type of grit that exists in today's game that maybe existed back when I played 20 plus years ago, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, what happened in the past is done. You can't change it. All you can do now is determine what do you want the program to look like, what do you want the culture to look like, and then how do you get there? How do you put the right players in the clubhouse that are going to be there for multiple years. It's hard to build culture. And this is something you really see in professional baseball. Your team changes constantly. You might have a core group that's there, but every year, whether it's a different level of the minor leagues or there's a big switch up in just complete roster build in the major leagues, you potentially lose culture. And a lot of the changes that exist in college sports, a lot of them are good, some of them are a little questionable, but those are the cards that everybody has. It's not like Carolina's the only team that's dealing with that. Like, everybody's dealing with the same circumstances. And it's how do you build culture in a winning environment when there's so many things that are changing? And that's a challenge for coaches today that really didn't exist when I played.
You are a guy who can actually discuss these things, I think, more so than others or for multiple reasons, but because you went to the big leagues, you played in the big leagues and you saw what it looked like, and you're a pretty good player in the big leagues. You talk about a big league locker room changing every year, Tolly. It's never going to be the same. You're always going to have some group of players that's going to be different. But is it easier to create a culture with professional guys versus create a culture in a changing locker room with basically amateur guys at the college level, because of the human being? You're working in the big leagues. I mean, you're employed by that team. Here at the collegiate level, I know guys get paid and stuff like that, and I'm sure in wealth management you probably have some thoughts on that too. But how do you compare the two in being able to create that culture? What is important to create it in the big leagues versus in college baseball?
It's a great question.
I stumped you.
Yeah, I think it comes down to respect. Like, at the big league level, you can have a coach that's a great coach, but you can have a player that is a superstar and has a huge contract, making huge amounts of money. And at the end of the day, he has as much pull as probably the coach has, because there's unbelievable sponsorship from the front office to have a voice of authority with that player. College used to not have that. So when I played, I mean, Ray was intimidating. He was a father figure. Man, my time at Carolina, I went from being a pecking boy that was a freshman that, could never do anything right, to raise a father figure and best friend by the time I'm a junior. And like that transition is built via like dual respect. And once you gain somebody in respect, is something that's earned. Like, there's just no other way around that. Once that respect is there, then you start to get buy-in, and then you start to really see culture start to change, because a coach can set the temperature in the locker room. A coach can give players the ability to play free and understand that, like, this is a difficult game. You're gonna make mistakes. If you're playing scared of making mistakes, you're gonna produce that type of culture where, like, everyone's walking on eggshells. You're scared to make the big play. You're scared to do all it takes to win. And so, like, having a coach that can set the temperature to allow players to get the most out of what they're physically capable of doing is something that, like, instantly gains credibility within a clubhouse. I mean, you think about your friends, you think about life, you think about people that you hang around with, you think about people that you would go help them at 12 o'clock at night, no matter what. It's because they've earned your respect, because they know that, like, you're in it with them. And so, in my opinion, the best coaches that I ever played for were ones that, were in the trenches with us, but were also the ones that tried to take the pressure off of you and put you in situations that you could succeed. And then the times that you didn't succeed, like, coached you through it, but but knew that like you have to be a big part of this in order for this whole thing to work. And so, trying to build the culture and build respect and build the direction that the team's going, like there's no doubt that the manager or the coach sets the temperature. But after that, it's on the players to keep the thermostat going. And, that's one thing that if you're a player and like you're here today and gone tomorrow and you're going to be at this school and then jump to the next school because coach wasn't nice to you or you didn't win, like that's where culture gets disrupted. And like, I feel for all the college coaches out there today. I mean, they're dealing with so many different things. And, and so I guess to answer your question, I think the college is becoming more like pro because, you get some players, maybe not in baseball, but in other sports that, they come with big price tags, and that comes with a lot of authority.
It's been said to me personally multiple times that, one of South Carolina's main issues right now is the foundation. It's eroded. They have chosen to both of the last two leaders, and I'm not even saying when all this portal stuff started that like King, like they wanted to go heavy in the portal. That was kind of his theory on it with certain things. I'm not even saying he was wrong. I think he thought that was the right thing to do at the time. Paul Mainieri certainly came in and wanted to go heavy on the portal. And quite frankly, none of it has worked, Tolly. And back to my original point was, look, if you want this thing to be successful here, we referenced Georgia Tech earlier. Look what they did 5 years ago. They went out and just got a bunch of elite recruiting classes, grew them all up, and here they are. They're one of the best teams in the country. South Carolina needs to get back to recruiting and signing the high school kids and build the foundation, supplement from the outside with the portal, and you'll be able to see this thing change almost overnight. They'll be in a pretty good spot. But I do want to – you just mentioned something to me that this has been well documented. I'm not saying anything out of line or out of spite that hasn't been true or proven to be true. But you really actually I asked you a question about locker rooms in general. I feel like you just described South Carolina's because it was eggshells is a really nice way to put it under the guy who got let go in March. I mean, it was a train wreck in there as far as kids being scared to death to go perform and scared to make a mistake. That day that I saw you was the Arkansas game, and things, obviously, they've lost games since then. I know that. But this has, in my opinion, been a different ball club since Paul Mainieri was let go on that Saturday morning. Have you seen a difference? And if so, what has it looked like?
No question. I mean, I would love, obviously this can't happen, but I bet if you asked everybody in that locker room, hey, if you started the season over right now, where does this season end up? Like once momentum is created in a season, and like, in college baseball, there's a lot of games, but you have 3 or 4 bad weeks. It's tough to recover for the whole season. Like those are games that you can't get back. And when you look at kind of where things were and where they are now, like I've made a point to watch as many games as possible because it looks like a completely different team. The outcomes are going to be the outcomes. I mean, the guys that are in that locker room are the guys that are in that locker room. I don't know the numbers for the amount of people that hit the portal last year and the amount of new players that are in right now and the guys that are getting their chance or their opportunity to put their mark out there on South Carolina baseball. Like over the last 6 weeks, they've been fun to watch. I mean, there's been so many close games that could have gone either direction. I mean, you think about, the series with Texas, you think about, so many other different, like 1 or 2 run games or, a play at the very end of the game that changes the outcome like that. That's baseball. I think that if this team was playing like they are right now at the very beginning of the season, the momentum that they would have had and the confidence that they would have had headed into SEC ball, probably changes the win-loss column by 4 or 5 wins. And that puts you in a whole different spot right now. We all know that can't happen, and it's easy to think about what could happen. But in my opinion, there's been a noticeable difference. Even, some of the one-off conversations that I've had with a couple of the players, it's just different. They feel it, the excitement of winning, the being down a defeat. Like those are all things that you're going to experience throughout the year. But, I don't think you could have asked for much more.
I've seen some things in the last couple of weeks that really didn't have anything to do with what transpired on the field. Mm-hmm. It brought back what made this program great. The thing that has always, I think, made South Carolina baseball great, and you obviously you have incredible firsthand experience in this, is the people and the atmosphere. It's always been about, like, the one thing that, like, people that don't understand what I'm saying, it's okay because they maybe haven't been around or haven't been around enough or whatever the case is. But Tolly, you know what I'm about to, when I say this, you're going to nod your head. I know you will, because everybody does. The thing that always made South Carolina baseball great is it started with the leader. Who was the leader? And Coach Tanner obviously was maybe one of the greatest leaders in the history of college athletics, regardless of sport. But then the players, the play-by-play guys, the field crew, the guys who work the concession stand, the guys who check the tickets, the guys who protect the dugouts, the green shirts, as they call them now at Founders Park. Clark Cox and the guys who are in charge of the field crew, like, everybody communicates, and it's like a big family. Like, you see the associate AD Jeff Davis down there talking with the field guys like they're brothers. That's not the case everywhere. It's not. You can go to every ballpark in the country, and that will prove to be true. But that has been the case at South Carolina for a long time. That had gone away. And last weekend, I saw a bunch of kids trying to get autographs, and I saw, like, Coach Lee look over, and he said, why aren't these kids out on why aren't they letting them on the field? And it wasn't anything to their fault. Yeah. They just said, Coach, we were told a few years ago, don't let them on the field. He said, open the gate and let these kids come out here and get autographs. And there's 50 kids on the field in a matter of like 30 seconds. And I was watching the players, and they felt like heroes in that uniform because they had just won the game. They had just won the series. And now you got a bunch of kids, like, that was Stephen Tollison when he was a little boy. That was me. I know that. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, that is what this program, like, that's where it starts here. And where it finishes in the good years is in Omaha.
That's right.
And there has been so many little things that have been missing, Tolly, from this program that I have personally seen. And I'm going to get beat up for this on some message board later on because, they don't like me being positive about the things that have happened since the change in March, but I don't care about that. Those are the things I've noticed in the last 5 weeks. And I'm looking at that, to your point, going, you get one full season of that, you're looking at a different Gamecock baseball program. Everybody thought it was lost. It ain't as lost as you think it is.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that's as lost as you think it is. I mean, it takes time for things to recover. There's no question about that. Like, no question about that. But I mean, bringing in a couple complementary pieces on the field obviously is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have my opinions on things. Like, I'm not in the grind of college baseball. Amazing managers. I also played for a few that I didn't enjoy. Buck Showalter was in a league of his own. Like, the way that he interacted with players, the way that he embraced you as a person, not just a pawn on the field.
Yeah.
Like, instantly gained credibility with the whole locker room. Ray was amazingly intense, but also you knew that he was behind you at all points in time. And some people may think that I'm just saying this or not. Monty Lee, one of the best baseball guys that I was ever around at all levels. And the big thing that made Monty so awesome, and this is why he was such a great fit with somebody like Ray, like he was able to connect with the players in a way that might not have been as forceful as Ray, but it was because he wasn't the head coach at the time. Like it wasn't his job to be forceful. Like when you're not the head coach and you're not running your own program and you're not the guy setting the temperature in the locker room and you're not the guy that's demanding the culture, like you can only do so much around the edges. But the value that he added to that coaching staff is like, even when Ray would wear me out or would wear Landon out, like Monty knew how to be firm, but also knew how to get out of you what Ray needed to get out of you. And I don't know this for a fact, but I bet if you went to all the starters on the team today and you set them down and honestly said, hey, no filter, tell me about Monty, I almost guarantee you every single person in that locker room would run through a wall for him.
Yeah.
And like that is what begins the restructuring of culture. You can't restructure culture in 5 games or 10 games. It took Ray 10 years to get the culture where he wanted it in order to win. And like Monty's one of those guys that obviously I don't have a voice in all this, but to see him get his chance. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we got to go find the next thing. I'm telling you, he is an amazing leader. His knowledge within the world of baseball is elite. He shared hitting ideas with me all throughout my career.
Even in the big leagues?
We've stayed in contact. We're still in contact today. Think about that. That's 20 plus years. Like, and raised the same way, but it's not always about baseball. Sometimes it's about family. Sometimes, but those type of genuine human beings that can also lead at an elite level and understand what the culture was at South Carolina, that's hard to go find. Like if you brought that resume to a board of directors and removed a name or removed everything else, what else are you looking for? Because anybody else it's a question of like, okay, what happens? So I know that's not why I'm on this call. I don't even know why that was why that came up, but Monty's one of those guys that like understands South Carolina baseball. He understands what it was. There's no doubt to me he understands how to get it back there. It just doesn't happen with the light switch. But I think if given the opportunity, I think everybody would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would be surprised.
I think I don't disagree with that. And we have no idea where this thing's going to go and what's going to happen or anything like that. But I do agree with what you're saying. I have been, and I know I've probably kept you too long. You probably got to get to work here, but I'll slip in this comment and let you go, man. I have said multiple times in just being around this program for so long that I think Carolina baseball needs more Carolina baseball, not less. And what I meant by that, Tolly, was this program wrote its own story. You know, I hate to bring up Coach Maneri again. He was great to me. I mean, honestly, I don't have any personal issues with Paul Maneri, but I think everybody shared in all the issues once we figured out what was going on last year and how bad it was and how unfair it was to these kids and to this program. One of the main issues publicly that I always had with Coach Maneri was This is not LSU. This is South Carolina. You are the baseball coach at South Carolina, not at LSU. People don't want to hear about it. The comparisons to what this team doesn't do or does do compared to what those teams did when you were there, nobody cares. And what they care about is being what this program was. What was the formula to making this program what it once was? And that is, and I'll always stand on that because of guys like you and Drew Meyer and Brandon Pack and Reese Havens and you know, you can go back to all the way back to the 70s. Like there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names of people who built the Gamecock baseball program, and it worked. And for whatever reason, there are people, both inside and outside of the athletics department, fans, whoever, who want to continue to run further away from the things that worked around here, and it has never made any sense to me.
Right. No, I can see that for sure.
But everybody wants to win, and I understand that as well. So we'll see what happens. They got to go to LSU this weekend. The last time you were in LSU was in 2005, and y'all swept them, if you remember that, your junior year at South Carolina.
There. I didn't hit many home runs, but I remember hitting a home run there.
Did you really? I didn't realize that. Well, obviously helped to one of the 3 wins that weekend. So, Tolly, are you going to try to get to Columbia next weekend for the Alabama series?
I would love to. I'm in that phase of life right now where I have 3 daughters. They're new baseball players, age 14, 11, and 7, and they play tennis and golf. And every weekend, I feel like we're in different tournaments, we're different competitions, and so whenever we get a breather, I definitely try to make it down.
Tennis and golf. That's where the scholarships are, right there.
I guess we're gonna find out.
You're gonna find out. Hey man, thank you very much for being on. Really great to see you. Really, really, really appreciate your insight. Glad you're doing well, and hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed we can run into you at Founders Park for the final home series of the weekend or of the season next weekend.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
There you go. Stephen Tollison, shortstop at the University of South Carolina and in the big leagues. Bill, are you there? Bill?
I am here.
There he is.
Yeah.
I figured you were back there somewhere. I heard the music click on.
Yeah, it's funny. It was, well, when you told me Tolly was coming on today, I was like, I pulled out my baseball cards because, you know, when.
Do you have one?
No, not that I would have his. I was more so looking for his father's because that was a bit more my era than when I was collecting. And I don't. I mean, you know, he was right in that wheelhouse. He was with the Yankees right there in that high period of me collecting cards, but I do not have one, unfortunately. Or I would have popped in and showed it. But yeah, always check. Always check.
What a baseball family. He is. I'm not like real close or anything with Tolly. Just know him a little bit, and he is one of the sharper baseball minds I've ever. I mean, he's sharp. He guys like him and Smoke, Landon Powell. You know, you sit there and you Blake Cooper's like you know, you sit there and watch the game with him. I feel like I know what I do know what I'm looking at. Yeah, and then they have a little bit of Coach Tanner in them, where it's like. This kid's going to come back up in the 4th. He's going to probably hit one in the gap if they throw that pitch again. And sure enough, and you're like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. So anyways, good stuff. Appreciate him. Appreciate JC, Matt, you always appreciate all of you. Tomorrow is Friday, thankfully. Who do we have tomorrow? Raphael. That'll be good.
Yeah. Matt will be back probably.
You do what?
I think Matt's coming back.
Matt will be back.
If we do go all 4 hours, it'll definitely be Matt, and JC on 12 to 2.
I got to get the 4QF guys in here.
Yeah.
We got Muller and maybe a baseball guy.
Maybe a baseball
for the weekend. Yeah. That's right.
I'm excited.
That's right. Pretty excited. Appreciate everybody. Have a wonderful Thursday. Have a wonderful Thursday. Appreciate y'all being here, and we will be back tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, inside the Gamecocks, presented by the West Law Firm and Resto Pros. We'll see you then.